Is visually pleasing the only job of architecture? Which is what unfortunately most people believe, that it is our job to produce good looking objects which would sit out in cities and streets and people pass them by and they look good. Is that the job of an architect? Probably no. A lot of first year students always come back and ask, or would I face this question while choosing a subject called architecture, is what is the difference between what a civil engineer does and what do you do? A civil engineer also makes buildings. And I ask this question sometimes even to the final years when they're walking on, do you know the difference now after 5 years? The job of a civil engineer, which is probably, if you say that there's a box to be made, and the job of the civil engineer is to make that box right. If it's a shelter, depending on what climate it is in, if it is raining, if it's snowing, if it's hot, if it's cold or whatever, it is to make that box function well, structurally right, stable, doesn't leak, keeps the temperature out. To make that box engineeringly perfect is the job of what a civil engineer does. Then what does an architect do? So the difference is the box holds some space inside it and the box excludes some space outside it. The job of the architect is to deal with that space because people spend time in that space. They are not concerned with the box. The box is required to make the space. But the space by itself is what the architect is dealing with. You're actually dealing with emptiness. So when I'm inside a box, where does the light come from? What is the view that I'm looking at? How does the inside connect with the outside? What is happening in the in-between? What kind of volume is there inside which will make me feel good or bad? Is it a place for reflection? Is it a place for meditation? Is it a place for gathering? Is it a place where 100 people gather or 1,000 people gather? That space is what an architect is concerned with, where people live their lives. The box is a result of how to make that space. If I require a particular kind of box or a particular shape or a particular design, it is coming because the space is demanding it, not because the box has to be beautiful. In the process, the box will probably become beautiful. So somewhere we kind of lose that distinction between the object as you see from outside and the object as perceived from inside. As an architect, our job is actually the space inside the object where people spend their lives. Is that space meaningful? Is that space of any use at all? Or is that space enlightening, uplifting, whatever you want to call it? That is your job. In the process, it will end up looking good because if the rationale is right, like you said, if the reasoning is right, if your space-making capacity or the ability to make that great space is wonderful, you will end up making an object which will obviously look good. The reverse may not happen. I may end up making an object which looks beautiful from the outside, but the space inside is all screwed.
I want to create a thought experiment. So if you had to teach someone to design a beautiful functioning building in 1 year and their life depended on getting it right, so what would you teach them? Everything else is noise.